121 Leader Podcast, Leading from Zion instead of Babylon. My name is Stanley Black, and Section 121 of the Doctrine and Covenants has been especially impactful for me in my life, so I wanted to share some of my insights with you. This podcast is about leading in the Lord's way as defined in Section 121. We'll eventually branch out into other resources, but for now, we'll stick with Section 121. My intention for this podcast is to keep it short and sweet, to give you something to think about for the day, something to dive into, something to ponder throughout your day, even when you're on a short timeline. So, we're going to dig in directly to section 121, the verses inside it, with some commentary from the insights that I've gained in my life. And we're going to do things a little bit differently in that we're going to read the chapter backwards. I know this may seem a little counterintuitive, but the promises are in the end of the chapter. And a lot of the material in this chapter, particularly, is difficult for how our culture currently sees leadership, presiding, maintaining management of things. And so, really, I want to start with the blessings and promises and the potential of what's there, and then work backwards. So, today we're starting in verse 46, the last verse of the chapter of section 121 of the Doctrine and Covenants. Again, for context, Joseph Smith received this revelation while he was in Liberty Jail. So keep in mind here that this was a deeply and profoundly challenging and personal time for the prophet Joseph Smith. He had the opportunity to lead the saints in Missouri and Kirtland, so he had leadership experience. He had also seen what happens when leadership goes bad, when people turn out traitors, when people seek self interest. So, diving into verse 46, if you do the things in the chapter, if you follow the promises and guidance and instruction there, the promise is, the Holy Ghost shall be thy constant companion. So let's think about that for a moment. How is your life different if the Holy Ghost is your constant companion? If the Holy Ghost is helping you in everything that you're doing in your life? Do you make smarter decisions? Do you do better? Is your work more efficient and effective? That's no small promise. So the Holy Ghost shall be thy constant companion, and thy scepter, an unchanging scepter of righteousness and truth. Think about the scepter as a symbol of governing, as a symbol of leadership. Look across the whole of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, and so forth. We see so often you have someone who starts out great, like Saul, who became king and then went against the words of the prophets and became a very angry, frustrated man. People say power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Is that unavoidable? The idea that having power will cause you to be corrupted? Not according to this verse. Again, if you follow the principles in this chapter, thy scepter will be an unchanging scepter of righteousness and truth. And then for the next promise, and thy dominion, in other words, what you're leading, what you're governing, shall be an everlasting dominion, so perpetual. And without compulsory means, it shall flow unto thee forever and ever. And in addition to being a promise here of blessings that can come as we follow the principles in section 121, it's also a test. What is the nature of your dominions today? Do they flow to you without compulsory means? In other words, are you a leader that people want to follow? Because really, that's the essence of this, is in section 121 leadership, leading in the Lord's way, leading from Zion. If you're doing it in the way instructed, then people desire to follow your instruction. It's not just oh, I have to. It's not positional authority where people are afraid of you, but people literally want you to lead, want you to be in charge because they know things are better and happier and just everything's all around better when you are the leader. So that's it for today, just covering those promises there. And next time we'll move to the previous verse. Have an awesome day and ponder the effectiveness and the